All right, guys, I am recording and I welcome all of you guys. I see a lot of people from all over the place, from Canada and from Georgia, from South Florida, from Ohio, Texas, Colorado, yes. So, guys, I want to share some information tonight with you that I got from my mastermind out in California just a couple weeks ago. We didn't have a call last week because we had the doctor's panel. I put a couple new pictures on here of two of our new mentors. You guys have heard Nicholas on the call. Cole and Sonia Hatter. Those of you who knew, Lisa had a biopsy this weekend. We were actually supposed to be in Mexico, but we know now why we weren't able to go. We're going to go next year. Sonia and Cole have a mastermind called Thrive. I will just tell you this. If you're looking for something for personal development, look, today, a chiropractor friend of mine from up in Canada said to me, Michael, what do you do for personal development? And I'm just going to tell you guys this. Thrive for Lisa and I was the best personal development thing we've ever done. We love John Maxwell. He's one of our favorites. We read his books. But Thrive was great because nothing was sold there. Cole brings in Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Lori Harder, Jay Abraham, Damon John. I mean, just all of these awesome people, and they just teach. They don't advertise their businesses. They give stuff away for free. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. And what I'm going to teach you guys tonight is something that I learned from that I pray you guys take notes, because as I said, I'm going to give something away at the very end. So please take notes of little things that we talk about. And on the screen here, you can see Sonia and Cole Hatter. They are one of our mentors I was just talking about, and Nicholas Barely is here with me and Lisa also. So I want to first talk about something that we've been teaching in our trainings that we've been doing. We've been defining our why and our what. So I'm going to start off tonight at talking about our what and our why. So I don't know how I got these things mixed up, but let me see what I did here. Guys, hold on with me. Just be patient with me 1 second. I have got something that did not transfer over to my slides for some reason. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to open up this so that you guys can see this, because I think this will make a much bigger impact with you guys if I can get this to you guys. So just hold on 1 second, and I will have this fixed. I don't know how that happened, but it did, and so we've got it going now. All right. Okay, cool. So let me get back to this, what we're talking about. So let me go back to share screen here. All right. So guys, we hear this all the time, but I wanted to share it tonight because I did this up in Georgia at one of the workshops, and it was so much more impactful. And I'm going to show a video to you guys here in a minute, and I want you guys to pay really close attention. Defining your why. Now, I'm looking at some names on here. I'm looking at Chris. Chris's why is his family. Okay, some people's why is to get their more time back. A why can be anything. Okay, helping people get healthy. That's my why in 2018 is with my. We have our massive launch of our coaching business in actually, I'm looking at the date of the calendar, January the 9th. This is coming up very quickly. Some people want to take care of their kids financially. One of Lisa and I's whys is to take care of our family financially. To retire a spouse, that was one of my whys. That's changed because that's happened now. So, but the second most important thing that you want to fixate on is your what. Okay. So I want you guys remember to take notes. So the number one thing that you want to do with your what is you want to write down your goals. Okay? You want to write down your goals. And with your goals, you want to be intentional about them. Make them visible. Like Lisa's bought this big, if you guys could see, we have these whiteboards everywhere. We have one to my right, one on the wall, and one behind me. One with our schedule, one with a couple things over here. And define what you're willing to do. For us, some of the things we're not willing to sacrifice is church on Sundays and working on Sundays. We don't do that. We don't work on Sundays. We take a Sabbath.
Unless we trade a day.
Unless we trade a day, like we did trade a Friday.
Audio.
We did trade a Friday a couple weeks ago. And so, hey guys, if you guys can mute when you come on, if you can mute for me, that'd be great. What we did is we traded a Friday. So I'll just tell you something I just recently sacrificed. I just recently sacrificed golf until April 1st. So for me, that's December, January, February, and March. So I've got 4 months of no golf. And those of you that know me, you know I like to play golf. I just found it a waste of my time and took me away from things that I wasn't getting done. If I played 2 times a week, that was about 8 hours out of my week that I wasn't doing anything. And so define what you aren't willing to sacrifice, as I said. Church. Be intentional with making time for your family. You know, here's a big one. And I learned this more at my last mastermind. Define how much money you would like to make. I know a lot of people have a mentality is that, hey, you know, I've made 6 figures in my business. I'm probably not going to make that at what I'm doing. You have to be intentional when you're thinking about this. How much money do you really want to make when LifeVantage is $1 billion company, when they're a $200 million company? So 5 times what you're going to make. Hey guys, when you guys come on, if you can really do me a favor and mute your phones, there's a lot of feedback and I am not, Lisa's computer has been acting up and it doesn't seem to want to mute everybody. So if you guys can come on, I'm just going to mute everybody at the bottom and then you can unmute as we go. All right. Can you guys all still hear me? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So what I want you to think about is how much money you want to make. Okay. Write it down. If it's some people, it's $250. Some people it's $500. Some people it's $1,000. Some people it's replaced their income. I can tell you when we first started, for us, it was just to get the products for free and take care of our family. And then we realized that it was a huge opportunity. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You can use this in any business that you have, okay? Whether you have, like I'm going to use Chris, for instance, because Chris and I are really close friends. Chris can use these things in his dent business, okay? He's a supervisor. He can be intentional and write down goals for the people that work for him. And I can just tell you this, he's a hard worker. That's why he's a perfect person for this business. And that's why I think that you guys, once you define your why and your what, you will understand a little bit more about personal goals, your goals with LifeVantage, your goals with relationships. My mentor, Cole Hatter, Lisa and I were listening to this a little bit ago. He talked about what was the most important thing to him, and he said relationships. It was the most important thing over money, anything. And I'm going to share some stuff with you guys here in a little bit about being in an influencer over persuading and using influence to persuade people. So those are great nuggets. Hey, Robert, how are you, brother? So think about this when you guys are writing this down. So write down your goals and make them visible. Okay. So, all right. I want to share a short video with you guys. So pay attention because remember, we're writing things down at the end. We're going to give something away. So pay attention to the video, pay attention to what you're seeing on the video. And I'm going to play the video really quick here. All right. Hold on. All right. Here we go.
Series is called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know? The next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So Break Time, this is how it works. I travel the country. I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just going to show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know what version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found was blind. I see.
So here's the thing. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose. The series is called How Do I Know?
Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys understood what he said there. I really love what he said when he said that. When you know your why, your what becomes more important because you're walking in and towards your purpose. Love that, guys. That's one of the most powerful things that you guys need to think about when you're thinking about your why and your what, whether it's has to do with your grandchildren or has to do with retiring. Like I said earlier, it has something to do with retiring your husband, whatever it may be. Think about that when you think about what your why is and what you're and why you're doing Life Vantage, like Lisa just said.
Is your what?
Exactly. So, all right, let's move on. I am going to talk about persuasion over influence. And the reason I'm going to talk about this tonight is because we have been so ingrained in our mind to always try to sell people or to persuade people into buying our products or joining our business. And what I've learned is, and I'm just going to share this with you because I feel it's important. Our mentor, Cole, one of our mentors, new mentors, Cole Hatter, really put this, he said, people don't want to be sold anything. And I've begun to tell you guys that as we've been at these events, I was just with Cole in California last week, and he taught this very topic. And then we did he had an hour talk, and then Lisa and I just listened to a recorded call that he did with us afterwards the next day because he only had an hour. And it's been impactful. I'm just going to tell you guys this. I have learned, I've always been scared to close people in business, to ask people to make a decision. And this has changed. This right here will change all of your businesses. If you guys can get to this point, and I'm going to talk a little bit next week about framing, about how to get people to make a decision. I'm going to talk a little bit about it at the end here, but I just want to talk to you guys about this persuasion over persuasion versus influence. All right, so persuasion is forceful, pushing. Influence is gravitational. Think about that, okay? Persuasion is forceful, okay? And being influenced is gravitation, okay? Remember, we're taking notes here, guys. All right? Okay, so you persuade them through fear, which is what 90% of marketing is. Okay? Remember this. You persuade them through fear. Exactly. Fear of missing out. We use it all the time. And Gary Vee says, if you don't do this, if you don't buy this, he said that's what people do to get people to be fearful. People don't want to be fearful, okay? Marketers cater to weaknesses, which allows you to not focus on your strength, and you spend most of your life being mediocre. So think about that. If you spend most of your time on your weaknesses, you never focus on your strengths, and you live to be mediocre. So if we focus on our strengths, I think somebody's leaving you got no audio on, bro. Can't hear you. Is that true? You guys can't hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't know. Somebody.
I can hear you fine too.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. Somebody said they can't hear me, so I'm like, I think.
That was Rommel.
Oh, okay. And then think about it like this. Persuasion is also a threat, and that is bad. You never threaten people, okay? You never try to say, if you don't do this, this will happen. Don't do that, do this with me, okay? You must be an influencer. And then Cole told me about this book, which I just ordered. It's called Persuasion, a revolutionary way to influence and persuade. So you're influencing people through persuasion. Okay, so I want to go on to the next one here. Hold on one second. The do's and don'ts. I love this. He said this is another book that I'm getting ready to purchase. It's called The Cognitive Bias. I'm trying to get rid of this little thing over here on the side. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I don't like it. But the 25 Cognitive Biases. Great book. I'm going to talk about that now. Influence people to create a desire to be able to ask them. Influence. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Lisa and I were talking about something. People is to create a desire to be able to ask them to make a decision. Asking people to make a decision is the hardest thing for people. Cole used this example when he influences people about real estate courses. He says, you never want to ask an open-ended question, okay? You never want to say, and he used this example, and you can use it with your LifeVantage business. You can use it with any of your businesses. Think about this. He said, and he used real estate as an example. He said, there's people out there in the world that are crushing real estate. They're selling a lot of houses. They're doing great. And then there's also people that are failing, miserable, not selling any houses. And then he says, why do you think, he doesn't say, why do you think that's happening? He gives two choices. Do you think that that's because of a lack of opportunity or a lack of education? And most people say a lack of education because there's a ton of houses out there. It's just people weren't educated. So he said, if you'd have left it open-ended, a ton of people would just had splurted out a bunch of things, and then you'd had to answer each and every single one of those. So give people things that you can resolve their concerns. You know, we use this in our teachings. If I would you, like for a closing, if I, what is your, let's say there's somebody's close to joining LifeVantage. What are your negative things that you haven't been able to overcome? Okay. Let's just say I don't have all of the finances, or I don't have any time. And you say, if I can get you those problems resolved, are you able to make a decision to join me in the business today? So not leaving an open-ended thing, trying to resolve all of their concerns at one time.
Options.
You're giving them options. So and this is where the trigger words, exactly, by asking them questions. So trigger
what
words.
Is better, A or B?
Yeah, A or B, right, exactly. So trigger words and negative cognitive biases, okay? Many people do this. You shouldn't use the words price, cost, or fees. Guys, stop using these words if you're using them. Those are almost always things people don't want. Nobody wants fees or costs or auto ships. That's why we're calling them subscriptions now, okay? The way to change that is to call it an investment. Are you ready to invest in yourself today? Are you ready to invest in your future? Okay? And he also said, or use want over need. Like he actually used me as an example one time. He said, you know, if I'm Mike and I'm selling a coaching program, I don't say all of these things because so now you need my coaching program. This is why you want to use my coaching services. You guys see how that sounded? You're not persuading them by saying you need my services. You're telling them this is why you have this opportunity.
You show them that you ask your questions for people so that they can start to get the idea themselves, and then you come in with, that sounds like a great idea. It sounds like you really have this figured out. I guess that's why you would want to.
Yes, exactly. So you've agreed with them. You're agreeing with what they've given you as you ask those questions. So here's a word. Don't use negative presuppositions. Here's a positive one. People in this room, or I'm going to use you guys that are on the call. People on this call tonight want to further their businesses. They want to further their personal development. People out there that are watching TV tonight are not the people that we're looking to do business with. They're not the ones that are taking the steps to be better. They're not on the call tonight once a week for 30 minutes, okay? A negative one. I know, guys, we hear this all the time. And when Cole said this, I was like, yes. I know you're being here today. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick of your boss. You're sick of being broke. How many times do we hear this? That's persuasion and a threat of presupposition, and caters to fear. Think about that. It caters to fear. Okay? Caters to fear. So let's go on to the next one. I'm not used to Lisa's computer still yet, but I'm getting there. Positive presupposition. By being here today, I'm going to use you guys on this call. You guys are overachievers. You're the cream of the crop. You're a winner. So even if you're you're in a one-on-one, you're getting them to agree with you that they are this type of person. You're the person that only understands a once in a lifetime chance. You go for it. I love helping people like you. As Lisa just said, you're complimenting them. Being around people like you who want to be the best version of themselves. By doing that, you're creating an identity of who you want to do business with. We don't always want to do business with everybody. We're creating that identity, like Lisa said earlier. We're getting them to see themselves the way we see them, okay? This teaches them to believe in themselves and what you're offering them. There is no reward without risk. okay? You and I are the type of people who look for opportunity in the face and go right at it. You're the type of man I want to do life with or business with. Influence over persuasion. Then you ask them to invest in themselves. Guys, this training was absolutely phenomenal for me. I can just tell you, as I'm going to be sharing a lot more stuff with you guys when it comes forward to being able to do these types of trainings. And so what I'm going to do next is just for the next couple minutes, and then we're going to go over the contest. I'm going to have 2 winners tonight, and I'm going to give you guys something. Lisa is going to go over the reward program. I don't think I do, honey. Do you need it pulled up? Did you have it on here?
We did.
Okay. Hold on one second.
That.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, she's going to pull it up on the screen for you guys. Oh, the Jeep keys. Chris said you guys are going to give away the Jeep keys tonight. You can pay for the gas, Chris. Let's see. All right, let's click this on. So, all right, cool. Lisa is going to go over this loyalty rewards program. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I bet you most of you guys don't even know we have this. And it's phenomenal for your customers when they see that they can get free bottles of product and stuff to give to their loved ones. So Lisa's going to talk about it real quick.
Hey there. How's everybody doing? Awesome. Okay, so the loyalty rewards program, I'm going to quickly go over it, and I'm also going to show you in the back office even how to help your customers figure out how many points they have and how they can actually use them. So your initial new customer, and this is for distributors as well, all right? Let me just scroll down here. When you get a new subscription, immediately you get 100 points, okay? Right off the bat, and this again is for distributors as well as customers. Then based on your monthly subscriptions, depending on how much you spend, between $40 up to $99, you're going to earn an additional 5 points for every month. If your subscription is between $100 to $199, you're earning an additional $10 per month. And this will continue to accrue as long as you don't stop your subscription for more than 2 months. There's also going to be, as you can see down here, I don't know if you can see the cursor or not, but there's doubler months as well. So every 5 months, if you've not changed your subscription or dropped your subscription, they're going to double the points that you got. Is that crazy cool or what? So also for the customer referral program, yes, LifeVantage still has the customer referral program where a customer can recommend LifeVantage products to somebody else and they get credit towards their own order by referring a new customer. And just like they do with distributors, they have to have their name at the minimum or their own ID numbers. As you know, every customer gets an ID number. So when a customer refers another customer, they're going to get 60 points. Okay? So then as I scroll down here, and this is in the back office, and like I said, I'll show you how to find it. Just the different amounts of points to purchase product. Like for example, the Nerf Tube Protandem bottle is going to be 120 points. Okay, so depending on what it is, there's different point values assigned to each thing. All right, so let me jump in here. I'm going to move this down and come back into LifeVantage. It booted me out. So just give me a moment here to actually log in. Let me minimize that. There we go. Go down, account. And I'm going to pull up my mother's account here because she is a customer. So this is for you to help your customers find how many points they have and then how to use them. So here it is. Okay, we are logged into my mom, her account, and she has right here loyalty rewards program information. She has right here total credit earned, 85. So right now she's got 85 points. And then the redemption site. So she can pull this up, or your customers can pull that up. It brings you right to that document that we were just reading, okay? And then if she wants to redeem these points, let's say she wanted to redeem those points, she's got 85 points in her account right now. She just needs to come log in again to her website. And start shopping. Here you go. The different stacks. It tells you 690 points. She has 85 points. She can get herself a free physique cleanse. That's only 36 points. She can get herself, let's see, what else? Some pet tandem? Nope, not quite. So right now, I guess, really, all she can probably get would be a physique cleanse.
Perfect.
For free. Okay? And so she would just add it to the cart, and I don't want to do that to my mom, so I am going to just log back off and not send her a cleanse right now. So what you can do, or what we recommend, stop sharing my screen, okay, is, contact your customers, reinforce to them or share with them for the first time even that they are accruing points. Help them to see how many points they have, especially now Christmas time. It'd be a great way to do gifts for themselves, for others, to get product for everybody else. And along the lines of this being Christmas and everything, let your customers know how important they are. And I'm taking this from Tori Hill with her Facebook Live and our leadership call from Monday. She shared about how important our customers are. There are residual checks every month. So just splurge on them a little bit. Send them a little, Christmas card. Their addresses are in your back office. Just a thought. Anyways, back to Michael.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, honey. All right. I'm going to do this. Okay, let's go through this now. All right. So we are going to go over a couple things. So here, if you've got a pencil, here's our quiz, all right? So question number 1 is, who was our first person, first couple that I mentioned when I first came on the call? So write this on a piece of paper because we're going to go back over them, and I'll give you the answers, and we're going to go through 10 of them. Who was the second individual that I talked about? They were mentors of ours. The first one was a couple. Second one was a young man. Okay. Third, what was the way to define your what? What was the way to define your what? Okay. What was the name of Michael Jr.'s show that he was when he was interviewing the guy singing, and where was he located at that time? He said that he was in a certain city. Okay, what was the name of the guy singing? They kept his name on there the whole entire time, and so what was his name? And then the first slide that we started to talk about was 2 things that you need to figure out. Okay. They were both talked about on Michael Jr.'s video, okay? 2 things you need to find out when you first start your business. Your blank and your blank, okay? And then number 8, okay, is these 2 things, okay? Persuasion is blank. Influence is blank. Okay, persuasion is blank, and influence is blank. Okay, got one more, right? Okay, one more. All right, so the name of the book that I told you guys, the number of cognitive biases is what on the name of the book that I told you? There was a number of cognitive biases on a book that I told you about, okay? And then the tiebreaker question There is no reward without what? No reward without what? All right. Did y'all get them all written down?
Give them
Okay.
a minute or two.
What's that?
Yeah, give them a minute or two.
Right. Make sure you've got them all written down. Okay. Hopefully everybody has them written down. If you don't, just kind of, there's a little thing where you can raise your hand if you don't. All right. Everybody got it written down? All right. So let's go over them. All right. And then the top 2 people will comment in the chat how many you get right. So the first answer was Cole and Sonia Hatter. Second answer was Nicholas Barely. The third answer was write down your goals. The fourth answer, Michael's program, was break time. He was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The gentleman's singing's name was Daryl Duff. And the 2 things that you have to figure out are your why and your what. And this was, hold on one second, I forget, I got it written down, but it's shoot, what did I do? I lost track of it. Okay, hold on one second. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, it was a question. Persuasion is forceful. Influence is gravitational. Okay, that's number 8. Number 9 was how many points did Lisa's mom
You
have?
never asked that question, though.
Oh, I didn't?
Nope.
What number did I ask?
You went straight to number 10.
I went straight to number 10?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not one of them. Lisa wrote that on there. That's my bad, guys. So we just have two more. What was the number of biases? And number 10 is no reward without what? Okay, so who got, anybody tell me what was the number of ones that they got? Chris got 8. Okay. Colin's
8, 9, 10.
Yeah, there was only 10 of them because I didn't see the one you wrote down.
Sorry.
Who else? Anybody else get 8? Lydia got
One more.
6. Good job, Lydia. Good job, Sylvia. Sylvia got 6. All right. Who else? Oh, Beth got 7. Good job, Beth. Beth's usually pretty good at this. She got 9 one time, I think. Rhonda, what did you get? Did you raise your hand? You can unmute yourself if you don't find the chat box over here. Oh, Rhonda got 8. Good job.
Did somebody else get 8? No, that's a 6.
Anybody else? Mike Hinky got 6. Good job. Who else got some right? Don't be shy. Come on and see how much you're paying attention. Rhonda raised her hand. She got 8. All right. What was the last question? Oh, no reward without risk. No reward without risk. You just hit your knee? Lisa just bapped her knee. Anybody else get any more? All right. Jeff Lever said he got 2. Jeff, you're a mess. Fred Balk got 7. Good job.
Ooh.
Good job,
so 2
Fred.
people got 7, 1 person got 8.
Yep, 2 people got 8, actually.
Oh.
Chris got 8, and Rhonda got 8.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. So my 2 winners tonight are Chris and Rhonda. Yes, I will send out the slides to you, Michael. I will absolutely do that. I will absolutely do that. And I've got I'm gonna be sharing some things with you guys in the next couple of weeks. I've recorded some of Cole's teachings that are just dynamic. And Michael, I think they'll be great for you and your business too. You know, guys, we can use this in any of our businesses. So before we go, does anybody want to unmute and make a comment or ask a question before we go? We've got about 4 more minutes. Anybody want to make a comment or ask a question?
Yeah,
Michael,
Who is it?
Rhonda,
Hey, Rhonda.
you and Lisa have done an excellent job tonight. Thank you so much for giving up your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Anybody else?
the persuasion versus influence is amazing.
Isn't it, Michael?
Well, you take the fear out of it. I don't want to tell people that if they don't do this, they're not going to get to their goals, you know, but by acknowledging that we're looking for the people that are want to change.
Yeah, exactly. That are like-minded, like us. That, one of the things that Cole uses is, and I don't know if you guys can see this on my board, but I'm going to move it up here so you guys can see it real quick. This is what Cole says, and he says it's influence over persuasion. It's us versus them, because what that does is that makes us realize that we can teach them that they're important, that
We're a team.
that we're a team, that we're doing this together. And I like it when Cole and Lisa mentioned it. He said, you never leave open-ended questions, like I used with the real estate thing. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. In my coaching business, we're about to have massive influx of leads and calls and stuff. And I've never been a person of sales, but I can tell you this. And when Lisa and I sat down with an advisor, and when we joined Cole's mastermind, it was more money than we'd ever spent on one thing in our entire life, right? $15,000. And one of the things that was awesome about that is that these are the things that we got out of it, like connections and people that are just literally pouring into us so that we can pour back into you guys. I'm going to give you some access to some of these teachings so that you guys can listen to them. I'm going to put them on my YouTube channel so that you guys can hear some of these teachings that Cole does. They are just outstanding. Like he just taught this weekend for Than Merrill. If any of you are into real estate, let me read what you put, Lydia. Lydia, you can unmute. So what did you say? So instead of saying like opportunity waits for no one, how would you flip persuasion instead of that? Well, think about it. People out there, okay, they're not looking for opportunity. You're here today listening to me. So hopefully you've gained some understanding of how important this is and how important you are, because people like you aren't out there just working the 9-to-5 job and believing that that's all that there is that's out there, Lydia. So what we're doing is we're changing that thought process and allowing them to believe in themselves, and they give us what we need. They show us what we need to do to resolve their concerns. One of the things I like is Cole used the if I would you. If I could, I'll give you a prime example. He said, he used Nicholas as an example. He said, Nicholas, let's just say you're married and you have 2 kids. I want you to come to Thrive next week. And what's holding you back? He said, well, we haven't found anybody that could watch the kids. Okay. And he said, he acknowledged that. And he said, you know what? I totally understand. We've been dealt with this before, but you know what? I was able to hire a nanny for my kids. How about if you meet me 20 minutes earlier, and your kids and my kids play together, and you're able to attend the event? And he said, you notice how we influence them into believing that we could help them make it happen. So he
validated first. The reason he wasn't going to go was because of the children. And so he said, so you really want to attend this event, but you don't think you can because of your children and no childcare.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, I'd love to go, but I don't have anyone to watch my kids. And so that's where he validated him. He said how, he acknowledged what the concern was, and then he provided a solution that now he had really no excuse anymore, because he repeated it back to him that he wants to go. The only thing holding him back is childcare.
Yeah.
So he provided that solution about childcare so he can now attend the event.
And then he said, if I would give you a solution to that, would you attend the event? And he did. We hear this all the time. Chris and I just taught this in our workshops. If I would you, if I can resolve, not pushing them to, and I'll be honest with you, 99% of you don't ask people to make a decision. Don't persuade, don't use influence. You feel like you're trying to push them or you're trying to sell them something. I can tell you this, not one time from stage in the whole entire Thrive event did Cole try to sell anything. He influenced people to see the big picture. I can just tell you this, and and if you guys have more questions, I'll go a little bit longer for questions. But one thing I really like about Cole's teachings is that, guys, he does the sales teaching for Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Lewis Howes, all Jay Abraham, all of those guys. And people, I'll be honest with you. My first mastermind event with Cole that now outside of Thrive is going to be in January in like 4 weeks, I think, in Vegas. And Lisa and I are both going. I'm super excited because it's 3 days of nonstop teaching. I'm doing a speaker training on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker. And it's full days, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So get ready. When I come back from there, we're going to have weeks of things that can, and guys, share this with people. Tell them how important this is. Guys, we could have 75 to 100 people on this call. Tell everybody how important it is and how they can further their business. I believe if you guys lock this in your brain and you begin to teach these, and that's why I'm going to make them available on my YouTube. Some of these teachings that Cole's been doing, I'm going to make them available on my YouTube channel. If you go there, Michael Huey, and right here, you guys see in the chat, Rommel put Cole Hatter's the real deal. He took his same course that Cole did, right? And so, does anybody else have any more questions before we go? Anybody want to make a comment or anything? Been some great comments. Anybody else? Okay, before we go, I did want to tell you guys the flash sales for tomorrow is